Hi, my name is Erica. You might recognize me from our other YouTube channel, Adventure Approved. But this channel is a little bit different. I have a bunch of doctor appointments coming up this week and next week, so I thought I'd bring you along with me to show you what it's like inside my life living with autoimmune disease. My autoimmune disease I don't talk about quite as much on our travel channel, but this time I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with you about what it's like living with a rare disease. My rare disease is called Microscopic Polyangiitis. I got diagnosed in my early 20s. I'm just going to show you this view. Check that out. My autoimmune disease came on pretty suddenly. I was previously really healthy as a child and growing up. I was on the track team for about 3 years. I did basketball for a year. I didn't get sick very much. I went to the doctor maybe about once a year for the flu, if even. So to say that this was a shock was an understatement. I didn't know anything about autoimmune diseases, vasculitis, none of that. So it was all very new to me. In fact, I wasn't even diagnosed with it in the beginning. I was misdiagnosed with a disease called fifth disease at the time because that's what was going around the neighborhood. The doctor sent me home with some medication for my stomach to help me with the fifth disease. And then I just ended up getting sicker over that week period. I took the week off of work. I was managing at a grocery store at the time. And then I ended up going back to work after the week because I couldn't afford to take any more time off of work. And when I went back to work, I had some skin peeling from my hands. So I wore gloves as to not scare the customers or disturb anybody. And I was looking severely anemic. And so my boss told me that I needed to go back to the doctor because I was just not looking well. So I went back to the doctor. That's when they decided to run more labs and found out that I was really not doing well. So they said I needed to go to the hospital, and it was really bad at that point. I had problems breathing. I could hardly walk to the emergency room, but somehow I mustered up the strength to do that. It was a very slow walk. When I got to the ER, they basically rushed me in there. They had to do some chest x-rays. And when they did the chest x-rays, they noticed my lungs were filled up with some sort of fluid on both sides. So they thought at first it was pneumonia. They put me on some sort of breathing treatment, which was great since I was struggling breathing. They thought the bilateral pneumonia was going to be the problem until I started coughing up blood. And then they realized that wasn't the case. I kind of don't really have a ton of memory of what happened from there because I got really bad. But I did wake up intubated, so that was pretty scary. They don't want you to pull out the tube when you're intubated. So I was restrained at first, so that was tough. But long story short, I made it through intubation. I had to have some blood transfusions. They didn't think I was going to make it through the weekend. I got really lucky, and they did figure out that I do have vasculitis and diagnosed me with microscopic polyangiitis through a kidney biopsy. So I was put on treatments. At the time, it was cyclophosphamide and prednisone, which ended up saving my life. And then I did outpatient treatment for 6 months. And it was, and I also did plasmapheresis at the time, which was in combination with my treatments to help me bounce back. So fast forward to today, I've tried all the oral medication that you can take basically to treat this disease. And I've had side effects with basically all of them. And so now they have me on a different infusion medication. I'll probably end up taking you guys with me to an infusion to show you guys what that looks like. But this week I have appointment with my primary care doctor. I have some other specialists that I have to go see, and I have a surgery coming up. So lots to do to maintain my health. It's become kind of definitely the big priority. When you are sick with an autoimmune disease, there's always something, whether it's your body talking to you, whether it's the daily medications that you have to take, whether it's the stuff that you've got to bring with you just to leave the house. But there's always something there to remind you that, you know, your body isn't well. But there is also always something around, whether it's, if you can see the beautiful nature around you. This is the healing garden at the hospital that I go to. It's gorgeous. Or earlier I was with you guys upstairs on the top of the parking garage. What a view up there. It's a little windy, so I came down here. A little less windy down here today. And then inside the hospital, they have some really nice motivational sayings. So anyway, I'm here to show you that even though there are lots of stresses of being sick, there is always something good too to balance that with. So, but hopefully you guys can join me in my journey of living with illness. So come along with me and I'll show you what I can show you, and we'll talk about it along the way. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.